Now, one of the main reasons that people do not like woke entertainment is that it almost always pushes for woke morality. And this is a very fringe morality. It's also one that suffers from severe mental retardation, which is why it doesn't have more people believing in it. And it's usually people that are extremely uneducated about the world and humanity that believe in this type of morality. It's also people that don't think about the things they are saying and they're just hearing it from someone else. It sounds plausible, so they just parrot it further. And in this situation, the morality doesn't even fit within the gaming ethos, and it doesn't even make a better or more entertaining product. Like here you have woke morality that's basically making it unable to create a thieves guild. In this game, the thieves guild doesn't steal. So, as you can see, you have the player saying, I'd appreciate it if you avoid fencing any of the elven artifacts unless you're being told it's okay. Don't worry about that. The Lords of Fortune aren't thieves, right? So, like the pirates, the equivalent of the Thieves Guild, they're not thieves. I mean, you are, though. No, anything we hunt is salvage. Old, forgotten ruins and crap. And we make sure we're not screwing over a culture that lost it. So basically, you have this mindset of colonialism bad, which is reflected throughout the game. And you can see many woke activists on Twitter condemning other works of art that are far superior than the shit they're creating. Works of art like Indiana Jones or Tomb Raider, to the point where they infiltrate these IPs as well. And in the new Lara Croft board game, like, she's not a Tomb Raider anymore because that's disrespectful. And I also seen someone suggesting that the sequel of Indiana Jones should have, like, the daughter of Indy going and raiding the museums in London in order to return the priceless artifacts to the cultures that she stole it from. So like, the whole purpose of it is to indoctrinate the player. What they're expecting is that you will have like a teenage person playing this video game and they're going to understand that, okay, British Empire, absolutely evil, nothing irredeemable about them. The people who made Tomb Raider, the people who made Indiana Jones, also evil for supporting this type of culture and promoting it. And this is actually good. Like, this is the correct mindset, this is the correct morality where you should not steal from other cultures because they have like an intellectual property to it. So this is their fantasy, right? This is the mental retardation. If you look at the real world and you see what actually happened, you realize it's not good and evil, but it's like shades of gray. So the British Empire, they went to places like Egypt and they found certain rocks in the desert that no one placed any value on. Like, no one cared about them, no one even knew what they were. And the British Empire, using historians and archaeologists, they discovered the value of these pieces, and then they unearthed them, which was a very expensive thing to do. Like making sure that you're digging up the desert in the scorching heat with having to account for logistics, like how you're going to feed and give water to the archaeologists and make sure that they can survive the harsh desert while they're doing their best in order to uncover these priceless, very delicate artifacts and unearth them, is an incredibly expensive endeavor. It's not like they just went into Egypt and picked them up and right? But the thing that's more important, and this is something that even people from the Egyptian government today would recognize, is that by taking these priceless artifacts and moving them to London, which was the commercial hub of the world, and showing to the world the pharaohs and showing to the world the beauty of Egypt, what ends up happening is that they're diverting a lot of tourism to Egypt. Like, all of a sudden, Egypt becomes a tourist hub and they're making a lot of money from it. And you have Egyptian people within the government that are thanking the British Empire for doing just that. Like, they're making their country richer, right? So the things are a lot more complex. They have a lot more shades of gray that it's like, oh, they pillaged this country. But if you look at what happened in Syria when ISIS managed to take over, they destroyed priceless artifacts. They destroyed priceless statues because they were haram. Because the current people do not place the same value as the British did. They do not look at those artifacts and say, wow, like this is the treasure of humanity. This is the treasure of mankind. They look at the artifacts and they're like, no, this is haram. Like the people who made them believed in other gods. They believe in other things that are not okay according to the Quran. So they are symbols of heresy and they need to be destroyed. So again, what the British Empire did is to preserve the knowledge so that everyone can see it, because they believe it's the knowledge of mankind. It belongs to all of us. Like if Egypt is the cradle of civilization, then it's a good thing that historians are able to look at these archaeological discoveries and keep the chronicles of mankind alive. Something that wouldn't have been possible if the British Empire didn't understand the value of those rocks in the desert. And again, it's something that the current Egyptian administration also agrees that historically it's a good thing. Like, notice how they're not asking for the priceless artifacts to be returned. Like, they're happy with them existing in London so that the people who travel to London, they get to see them, and then they're like, okay, maybe next time we go have a vacation, we can have it in Egypt. And they're going to Egypt, the tourist industry is a thing, and they're shopping there, they're buying there, they're spending their money, and they're helping the Egyptian economy. Now, what's absolutely funny is that when I posted this on Twitter, I had a leftist with various flags and paraphernalia in the bio pressure me on this, and it's like, oh, so you think that if someone takes something from your house, that's okay just because you don't use it? I love how, like, again, this is woke morality. It's not even consistent. Like, they don't have a set of principles that they believe. Like, first of all, a nation is not a house. If you actually believe that a nation is a house, then you should be okay with what the Polish people are doing, because I notice they're criticizing them a lot, by basically, like, shooting anyone that tries to illegally get into their house. All of a sudden, you know, a nation stops being a house when it's about illegal immigration, because if you have a home invader, you are allowed to defend your property, right? So they don't believe it's a house when it comes to immigration, but they do believe it's a house when it comes to imperialism. That's fascinating. But the comparison is also inept. Like, yeah, if you were to come into my house and you find something that I consider to be trash, that I'm not interested in, I'm not using, and you just take that and then you put it on the internet. And now I have like all these religious people coming to my house for pilgrimage, and every single time one of them comes in, they give me $100. Yeah, you bet your ass I would be thankful you did that. I would definitely encourage you to pull something like this off. You know what's interesting about woke morality? Like, they're very concerned about other culture while marginalizing said cultures. Like, none of this shit is being created with the input of the actual Egyptians. They don't even care asking what the Egyptians think about this. They're just thinking that they know better. Like, their university professor probably know better what the Egyptian government thinks. And this is why it annoys people. This is why we consider it mental retardation. Because people who actually do look at world history and understand things and do travel the world, rarely, if ever, they happen to be woke. And when you push this into video games, not only does it create characters that are less interesting, but it also makes it annoying that the player is robbed of agency. Like, there's no way for the player to come in and use my argument and say, hold on a little bit. Like, what are you talking about, ancient civilization? Like, don't you think they should be grateful that their stuff is being preserved? But anyway, right. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.